Good afternoon, Dwayne. How are you?
Not too bad, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today with Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
But I do have some questions.
there are more questions than answers.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
If you're ready to talk, we're willing to listen.
Well, I really enjoy this program today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
May God bless every person.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us here on this truly terrific Tuesday as we invite you to be a part of Talk Today. It's going to be open line 949-8037 or 1-800-534-8255. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today, the Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program. We ask our listeners to avoid statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use any indecent language or make any statement which is false or misleading. Email Talk Today at candw.ky or call 1-800-534-8255.
Courtesy of Flow.
Cayman's #1 network that connects you to your world like never before.
Let your voice be heard. Once again, here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us. Hey, it feels like a great day. Even better if we get a chance to work together and engage in some constructive, meaningful dialogue. 949-8037, 949-6990. And if you don't mind, you can dial us on our toll-free line equally. 1-800-534-8255. And we've got a WhatsApp there for you as well. 925-3261. Seems like a lot of numbers, and for those of us who are in the financial sector or who like accounting, or just like numbers, easy to take on board. For others, a little bit, perhaps more reticence. But it's a toll-free line, so that's 1-800-534-8255. That comes out to 1-800-534-TALK. Of course, 949-8037, 949-8037. Or 949-6990. That's always a good number. Easy to remember, 949-6990. And then if you prefer to let your, fingers touch the, keypad as it were and type up what is it you want to say, well, 925-3261. Of course, with WhatsApp, you can record a voice note, send it across, we'll listen to it, play it on air, and it'll be, you saying your piece in that way as well. It is open line though, and I must share that increasingly a lot of you have been waiting on things that somehow sometimes make their way to the public domain. Usually at some point in time through the media. Sometimes it just stays on the mile road, but oftentimes when it does hit the media, it's how did he phrase it? In a sanitized way. Well, we're going to talk about a few of those things, and you will certainly weigh in and share your thoughts with us. It's open line. That means that, as I see the schedule now, all of our stated guests who are either pending or intending have decided, can't make it today, either busy or, hey, wait a minute, Thursday's a holiday. Got a couple of choices. One is which, hop a Cayman Airways flight and head on out. Some are going to just go up to the back and little Cayman for an extended long weekend. Others of you are saying, I wanted to go visit, and they're heading off the island. So if you're traveling, have a safe, enjoyable flight. Let's go to our phones. Hey, good afternoon and welcome. You're on Talk Today.
Good afternoon, Sterling. How are you?
Very, very blessed and thankful. How about yourself?
Good. Sorry to be your first caller.
I'm happy. You should get a prize.
I was on the eastern side yesterday and couldn't pick you up at all, boy. Just crocking up here and there, so. I don't want to put you off, but you're not the first person, sadly, to share that recently you've been having this static. You're not getting a reception as good as you should, as you were. Right, yes.
Sorry about that, man.
A lot of static and so forth, and then when you pass the
Health citizen, you start kicking in real good. But I was so hungry, I said, you know what, I can't bother with selling today. I drive all the way up without you, I drive all the way back down without you, I'll be all right.
You know what? As long as you got food, I don't feel so bad then if someone passes me up for food. I understand that.
Yeah, Sterling, I want to hit on a couple things here, but I see them doing the Essex Highway, they're cleaning up, but they're the guys out there from you know where, cleaning up.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And Sterling, those guys got about, look like could be 24 bags or more of garbage, and they look very, very full.
Mm-hmm.
Sterling, it is so sad to see that we have to be doing this on a daily, weekly, to keep this island clean from garbage. I do not understand if it's my people doing it and or other people or persons are doing it. So it is sad. I've been saying for some time, we need to go and see about getting a button on every computer in this island and hit me and you or whoever else to go to that store 3 and 4 times a day at 25 cents or a 50 cents to contribute towards this garbage that is being dumped all over this island. I don't know what's going to stop it, but I say you hit those son of a guns every time they come to that store to buy something, including me. You hit me for 25 cents. If I come 5 times, you hit me for 25 cents. And I know they got buttons on them registers that are not even being used. They got miscellaneous buttons and so forth on those registers in the grocery stores and elsewhere. That's how they can go and do the garbage bags that are not working, Sterling.
Right.
They can go and hit a quarter or a 50 cent.
Now, what would you do with that money? So
it goes towards the environmental health.
Okay.
And see if we could help control this garbage from being dumped here and there, a plastic bag, a bottle. And these guys that come out here being jogging for a purpose of they're doing some in the mouth here and raising money for so and so, and they're throwing the water bottles on the side of the road. There's no garbage bins on the side of the road for these guys to put these bottles in from time to time. I've been seeing it for a long time, Sterling. The bottles are up there, thrown all over South Down Road, the Newlands Highway, and you name it.
Yeah, I mean, I hear you. So I hear your idea, and it's probably not bad. You know, some places have an extra fee that they would charge at the cash register, and then if you bring back the glass, the plastic, or the thing, you'll get a refund. But in addition to that, could we also try to figure out what is it that's happening in our population where can I use the word that just this morning one elderly lady used, you know, about our society is becoming nastier and nastier. Our people are becoming nasty, she said. You're just throwing stuff on the ground everywhere and anywhere.
And you know what else, Santo, Sterling? Jealousy. Let me tell you something. You see, jealousy, that word, it is a dangerous word. You hear me? And you let me tell you something. I don't care who feels what I'm going to say right now. But you see, Cayman is too pretty and too clean when it's clean to say, you know what? I can't make this stay clean. I got to throw it out. I got to make someone do something.
Why though? I mean, I hear what you're sharing, and it's a sentiment, and unfortunately, as you say, jealousy, another word comes to mind. You know, being begrudgeful.
That's right.
What is the? We live in a place, whether it's a place that we can say we've been here for generation, you know, our families have been here for generation after generation, or we've only been here for a short time. You know, what is it they say? You know, you don't do in the kitchen what you do in the bathroom. You know how that goes?
Yeah, Sterling, he was always called paradise. Everybody came here because it was a clean country. But as our population continues to grow, a lot of people don't care about the Cayman Islands. They just care about what they can make and do what they can do with it. And 95% of it not even spent here in the Cayman Islands. They're giving us garbage.
Right.
But I want to stick a pin there.
Yes, Mom.
Go ahead, say something.
No, I was going to say, but the old saying, if you want a fruit, you got to take care of the tree.
Exactly. Exactly. I agree with you.
All right, but I don't want to put you off. You can say something else. Go right ahead.
Yeah. Caroline, I always been asking, who are we billing for here in the Cayman Islands? Certainly one of my jobs takes me from one end of this island to the next. I'm a Caymanian. I'm a born Caymanian. I don't care what they say right now about me saying I'm a born Caymanian. We say not no Caymanian, but I know that I was born here. And I am an ambassador from my island. And when I got to find excuses for my island, sometimes it hurts to the core. And it's like a practically white lie. But these people just keep coming. They don't coming out once a year and don't come back. You understand? They got people coming here over 3-4 times for years, Erling.
Wow.
Could even be more.
Yes,
you
ma'am.
know? But what I want to hit on, I'm going to let you go. And like I asked, who are we building for?
Mm-hmm.
So we got construction work from one end came on to the next. I want to know who got all of these workers work permit. Does someone have the work permit for so many workers and they can spread them throughout the island? Say, well, you go on site today for 2 days, the next one goes there for 2 days, and so forth and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly, that's what's going on at immigration. It needs to stop. Because all of these workers that I am seeing throughout this island, and I look when I'm driving, Sterling, I'm a very nosy person. I want to see what's going on around me.
Observant, man. Observant.
You know what I mean? And I can't see no K-miners working.
Yes,
Sterling,
ma'am.
it's talking about all of these high-rise buildings. They're building more homes. They're building more businesses and offices and grocery stores and all that kind of stuff. Where are the workers for these places? Where are the fire stations and the firemen for these places? How educated are our firemen going to be for anything over these 7 floors that we still have here now and want to go higher? What about our schools? What about our hospitals? What about our roads that we are taking people's property, buying people's property to help make a road, and it's not even working? Earlier, you should have saw the Newlands bypass this morning at 7:15. It was a chaos. It was at a stand.
Wow.
We couldn't even move. You know, but I just want to say, I just hope and pray that we would wake up and try to make some control on this island, because then doing all of this, I don't know who is benefiting. The Sterling, my few Caymanians are not benefiting. We don't want to be the bathroom cleaner and the kitchen cleaner and the lawn cutting situation. We want to have good positions too. We want to have nice homes too. We are just coming back down to nothing as we was many years ago. We was time forgotten the few Caymaners here in Cayman. There be no more Caymaners sooner or later, because we're not taking care of Caymanian people, encouraging them to have children and to and be able to
afford
help run this country.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes, ma'am.
I have, but Sterling,
But thank you.
I look at that because I'm going to go to a break. I
Yeah,
look
man.
at that.
But thank you. Very impassioned plea. Before we do the break, let's take the other caller. Welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon. How are you?
I am thankful to, yes. Well, I just want to chime in with the lady that was just talking. She was on a very good topic. And I've been talking about that for years. I said, that the thing about it, and I noticed it because I noticed that people who are coming from wherever they're coming from, they're walking with a bag, a little plastic bag in their hand. They bought some groceries someplace or some food or something, and they'll throw it like they were throwing it at your garbage can. But if it misses it and it goes anywhere else, sometimes bounces off and go back in the street, or it bounces and goes somewhere else in the yard, and different things like that. And it's just like they don't have a place to put their garbage when they can leave in home with their breakfast or whatever, or when they come to the fosters and things like that. It's really, really a don't care attitude. Well, you say, we're trying to throw it in the garbage. But hey, if you're gonna try to throw it in the garbage, stop and throw it in the garbage. Make sure it's in the garbage, not making it go back on the street.
Yeah, exactly.
But the truth fact is the impact fees, that the cost of the impact of all of this growth is putting Caymanians back down, because the Caymanians cannot compensate for all that is going on, because they're not getting a fair share of the jobs, they're not getting a fair share of the pay, and at the same time, the burden that is of so many people in here, overload on the infrastructure. I say that there need to be a tax. There need to be a tax, whether it's true, because the stores charges an increase on everything you go. On everything you go to buy, there's an increase, and don't care just for the immigration permits and all that kind of stuff. But some of those fees need to go back directly into the infrastructure and environment, because the place is a mess. And beside that, there's no patrols. there's no patrol.
No enforcement.
No enforcement. People have foot service, and you're supposed to have people that are driving by with cars, and you see people throwing things out of the car window and all that kind of stuff. No, somebody stands up along the typical highway with a radar and pulling somebody off for going above the speed limit. Well, the infrastructure tells me right now that the road that they are catching people for doing 40 miles an hour, their speed limit should be higher.
Yeah. Tell me something, that particular road, I mean, you're not the first person, but I'm glad you raised it. I don't want to take away from the importance of our environment. But many people have asked, and I don't have an answer, why is it that particular piece of road seemingly has been engineered and built, quite well? Why is that 40 miles an hour and not a higher speed limit?
Well, you know what it is? It's because if you notice the newspaper and the ads that they had a couple of weeks ago when they had announced that there were 198 speeding tickets caught on that road, and there was, so that is the gist behind all of that.
Fair enough, but then
it's easier for them to stand up at a radar and wave a person down, and than to get out and walk the street and be on street beat and see what's going on.
Prevention, but then equally, and I recognize the time, but take neighborhoods, right? Take Mount Pleasant Road versus West Bay Road, or whatever that's called now, because I'm not quite sure as to say. But take from the Georgetown Cemetery, Dixie Cemetery down to where the road is no longer in existence. You got 25 miles an hour, but Mount Pleasant Road, a highly developed residential area, is 30 miles an hour.
I gotta go now.
Yeah, man. What a Lakeland. Hey, as the caller says, it's not about us, it's not for us, but who's it for? Let's pause and take a break, and when we come back, maybe you can tell us. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
A caring and community spirit, cherished family and cultural values. These are some of the things that still embodies the Caymanian way of life in the Eastern Districts today. Savannah Pharmacy, your neighborhood pharmacy, located in Countryside Shopping Village, is delighted to offer products and services of real value. Whether it's catering to your family's medical needs or carrying apparel, gifts, and beauty products, Savannah Pharmacy provides you with more than just prescriptions. Remember, they're always just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays. Savannah Pharmacy. For more information, call 946-3336.
This Easter weekend, the Cayman Islands will welcome the rest of the Caribbean, and you do not want to miss it. Carifta 2019 takes place at the Truman Bodden Sports Complex from April 20th to 22nd. Watch the region's most talented track and field athletes compete and come cheer on your Cayman athletes. Get ready to raise your flags at the Caribbean's biggest athletic event this Easter weekend. It's Carifta 2019. Tickets start as low as $10. On sale now at CaymanCarifta2019.ky. See you at the games.
Carifta 2019. It's all about unity.
Get your tickets now at CaymanCarifta2019.ky. Brought to you by the Cayman Islands Government, CUC, Salt Technology Group, the Cayman Islands Athletic Association, DART, Miracle Broker, Maples Group, Pinnacle Media, World Gym, and Radio Cayman.
Don't miss these incredible savings at Brand Source Home Gallery. Save 20% off store-wide for 4 days only, March 26th, 27th, 29th, and 30th. Save 20% on appliances, kitchen and bath fixtures, vanities, kitchen cabinets, custom closets, mattresses, furniture, and housewares. Just in time to spruce up your home for spring. It's the Brand Source Home Gallery store-wide savings event, March 26th through 30th. Save 20% on everything store-wide at Brand Source Home Gallery, Industrial Park. Call 623-5000 for details.
Hello, I'm Joseph Woods, the Acting Port Director. Our port facility is the hub of the Cayman Islands commerce and economic activity, handling $658 million in imported goods annually. From groceries to construction materials, all sectors of our economy depend on the port. But it is now 40 years old. Its infrastructure is degrading, and we feel the strain from insufficient space for both cargo and cruise operations. The time is now. A new expanded port facility is needed to allow both cargo and cruise to operate efficiently and to support our island's continued growth and development. Support the port, support our tourism, support Cayman's continued growth and development.
Talk today. But but I do have some questions.
Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. 949-8037 or 1-800-534-TALK is our toll-free line. Likewise, you can WhatsApp 925-3261. Why don't we just read a WhatsApp that was sent to us by a very informed, enlightened listener who would like to contribute, and I think as time to time we have to be able to engage as much and as a wider cross-section of our population. As the callers before were speaking about the whole issue of the environment, the amount of litter on our roads, or whether it's just out of maliciousness and begrudging and jealousy, as some have inferred, whether it's just out of a lack of, being astute enough to understand the importance that we have to protect and preserve our environment. If we want a fruit, let's make sure we take care of the tree. Well, other issues to discuss as you wish. But let's read this. It says, this WhatsApp reads, says if this administration or future governments are serious about increasing the population to 100,000 or more for the Cayman Islands, perhaps they can explain or show us the sustainable plans that cover the following areas. 1. Roadworks. 2. Waste management, including sewage. 3. Infrastructure needed in all districts, particularly in Georgetown. Our public education system, the vocational training programs and facilities to help prepare our people for these new jobs. 6. Healthcare reform. 7. Cost of living. 8. Cost of doing business. 9. Cost of the civil service. 10. Unfunded and pension liabilities, which were last calculated at almost $2 billion. 11. New schools to accommodate growth, including the UCCI campus that needs an overhaul and investment. 12. Prison reform, including new facilities. 13. What new revenue measures are being considered by the government. And 14. Will the concession giveaways by our government continue at a time when the economy has been in a quote-unquote sweet spot, for almost a decade now? Well, is there a call online? And there are some thoughts in the queue. Let's go to the phones. Maybe it's you. Welcome. Good afternoon. You're on Talk Today.
Yeah, good afternoon, Dwayne. How are you today?
Man, listen, I am so good. I am so blessed and thankful. How are you?
After you heard my voice, you really got good, right?
You know it, my friend. You know it, man. All is well, I trust now.
Yeah, all is well. No, I wanted to call about something that I am concerned about.
Mm-hmm.
I heard before I left. I was up in Florida for a week.
Good for you, man.
I had to get some dental work and stuff like that.
All right.
I'm back now. But I had before I left, I remember saw it or read it in the paper or heard it on the news, something about where I think it was the security center guy was putting up these antennas that was going to improve the internet service and all that kind of thing. I don't know if you remember that, but
not really, no.
Pardon me?
Not directly, no, I don't.
Yeah, they talked about these little antennas. It wasn't going to be the big antennas, but it's a new thing that everybody's talking about 5G stuff for radios and or for phones and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, when I was up there, I happened to come across some stuff about this 5G supposedly innovative stuff that's going to, like if it took 10 seconds for things to come to you or be transmitted with the 4G, this thing is going to be like in milliseconds.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be there, okay?
Much faster.
The thing is that this stuff is nothing but a killer from radiation. And nobody they're talking about, this guy was laying it on the line. He said, don't get one of them phones or don't use that near your house, even the smart meters that they have for the electrical company and stuff like that. They all use the same thing, and they said, you're killing yourself when you have one near your house or near you in any place, and the phones would.
But do you have a choice? If I may interrupt you, let's ask about the smart meters, for instance. So your electric utility decides maybe it's cheaper, more convenient, for whatever reason, some alleged is, if they have the decision to put in a smart meter, for instance, can you stop it as a consumer? You say, no, I don't want that. I want the old analog. I want the old one that is less radiation, less radio frequency, whatever it is. Do you think it's safer?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
Do you have a choice?
Need everything happening. Huh?
But do you have a choice? If the company says, we're going to install this...
No. Government steps in and said, we're not going to do it.
Which government?
They're doing that in other places up in Sweden and up in places up there.
Yeah, but do we have a government that would do that? Show me one today.
No. If people get behind it and say it's good, because you imagine now, I see people now giving their children, even the 4G, it's still doing it,
Right.
But not as bad as the 5G.
But let me engage you a little bit. Show me one issue today where, as a people, right, we have come together either to support the government, to oppose the government. As a people saying, listen, this is where we should go. We shouldn't be doing this. It's been alleged that to date our people are not showing any sense of unity in relation to the long-term common good for the country.
The first thing they should do, Dwayne, is the television station. Came on 27. It's a thing that is everybody watches that. Okay, you get on that and you have experts in the field come out and talk about it, and also just to make it fair, you have those who are proposing this stuff to come in and do their thing.
Okay, but two things, right? Sorry, again, let's interrupt you. Two things. Experts. I mean, it seems like if you pay the expert, then you get the opinion you want. Whether we call the expert a consultant or otherwise.
I can tell.
Huh?
What I'm saying, Dwayne, is this: where there's a will, there's a way. And the thing is, if you got young children or grandchildren, or people that
right.
Giving these little iPads and these little pads and stuff like that. All of that's going to be on this. And these kids, I see people give their kids phones to talk to their grandparents or something. And these little children put these by their ear and they're talking, and the parents think it's funny. But it's not that the parents want the children to get hurt. But the fact is, nobody talks about it because what? It's money.
Yeah, I mean, I hear you, right? I'm not disputing what you share, but I'm asking, are we sufficiently informed? Are we sufficiently, let's use the word, motivated, incentivized in order to do the things? Take, for instance, the two physicians from Australia some years back that started to share to their patients. Hey, we've seen a correlation among, our patients and the use of cell phones, for instance. So we think there's a sufficient information to warn the usage. Now, were they embraced? Look at the potential warnings that may come from the WHO in relation to, those little things we stick in our ears in order to hear what is it that we listen to. They're saying we need to restrict, the decibels and the like.
Saying then, Dwayne, that we should give up because we can't do nothing about it. They're going to do it anyway, whether we like it or not. No. That's not the attitude we should take. We should say we can do it if we get enough people behind the thing to do it. Let me just show you something, Dwayne. Let me give you something.
Yes,
Look at the pharmaceutical companies. They are now killing people with this so-called medicine for diabetes. But nobody talks about it. You won't hear a doctor talking about it. You won't hear nobody in the medical thing talking about it. What I'm saying is that we, over the years, let me give you an example. You remember when we were growing up? This is a good example. When we were growing up, you remember how when the people killed a cow or something and people were able to get the meat, they had to have some fat on it. You remember that? you didn't buy a piece of meat or you had fat on it, right?
There you go.
And all of this, listen now.
Listen.
Now you hear him talking about you got to give up the fat because it gives you bad cholesterol and all that. Nobody back then that I know had diabetes or any kind of heart problems. You see what I'm saying?
I hear you.
Just say this stuff is.
All right, my friend. Keep sharing with us, okay?
Yeah, man.
All right, blessings to you. Let's check the little line. Welcome, good afternoon. You're on Talk Today.
Good afternoon, Dwayne. How are you today?
Oh, man, I am blessed. Very, very thankful. And I trust, hopefully, as much as I want to engage, hopefully still respectful. How are you, Mom?
I'm okay. I am blessed.
Amen. Amen.
Like you said, we are blessed.
Yeah. Thank you. I think we are.
There's a song about count your blessings. No. I can't sing that because we cannot count that much to count our blessings. But the Lord understands. The Lord understands. But I wanted to talk about the environment.
Yes, Mom.
What my friend had started out the show with.
Yes, Mom.
She's absolutely right. But I tell you, the very first time that I went to Switzerland, Patrick was a small little bit of boy. And he was old enough, though, that he understood quite a bit. And we used to read to him a lot and tell him about the country and whatnot. Anyway, when we got to Switzerland, and he was looking at the roads and staring out the window and looking at the roads, and he says, "Oh, Mommy, I never seen as much diamonds. They are rich people here because the road is full of diamonds." So we had to explain to him that it was crushed glass put on the roads. But who put it on the roads? They didn't get, like we do, NRA, Public Works, or what. They used their prisoners. The NRA or whatever they use is to say, well, this goes here, this goes the next place, this goes the next place. At 12 o'clock every night, the roads are pressure washed down. And they have different cantons, different speaking languages because of the cantons. Like we got district, they say cantons. Okay, it's the children are taught from even before they go to school. They have huge crushers in each supermarket, and you see the parents bringing the children to these crushers and throw in their bottles, and everything is separated. If the garbage man comes and finds that, because each garbage can is a different color, and if he comes and he finds that you didn't put the right things in those garbage cans, you are fine. This is a country of 8.4 million. But we with our 60,000, cannot do anything. Because, you know why? Because most of our representatives is friend with this person and friend with the next person. It's not for all the people. Like I was told on Saturday, oh, so-and-so helps in West Bay, or so-and-so helps in West Bay. See, yeah, he helps in some people in West Bay. It's not some people in West Bay. It's all the people. You're supposing to be representing all the people. Another very, very clean country is Singapore. Another clean country is Canada. I could go on and on and on, but we can't handle it with 60-something thousand. And now that Royal Highness is coming tomorrow, now they're cutting down here in Northwest Point. They with weed whacker, but you should see the garbage. It would take at least another 2 days. He'll be here and gone. Another 2 days just to clean up the garbage just on Northwest Point Road. They're not tackling Powell Smith Drive that has old cars, mattresses, the garbage thrown out by the road. Why should we be like this? Because the law is not enforced. We got laws coming out of our ears, but it's not enforced, Dwayne. And people that do these kind of things do not realize that all of this in our environment, it causes diseases that not even the doctors know what and where these diseases is coming from. They don't even have a name for it. I would like for the people, Caymanians are getting just like some of the imports because their country is nasty, or where they live is nasty. They do the same thing here. They do the same thing here.
Well,
so I hope that we can clean up and start to keep it clean and start charging people and making an example out of people that throw their trash around. You got to start somewhere.
Yes, ma'am.
Somewhere. I thank you, Dwayne, for listening, and I hope that things goes much better than it's been going since we call ourselves a tourist destination. We can drive them away. That's what's going to happen. Thank you very much, and good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Have a pleasant holiday.
You too, Mom. Thank you for sharing. And with that, let's pause quickly and take a break. When we come back, hey, what I hear from you. Stay tuned.
K-Man, let's recycle together. It's time for our annual Yellow to Green recycling program. Please collect and drop off old dry directories today. Yellow to Green recycling bins are now located at multiple convenient locations. Foster's IGA locations, Hurley Supermarket, Yellow, and participating primary schools. Thank you for supporting the Yellow to Green recycling program, turning old directories into reusable materials. Community program is happening now until March 31st. For more information, please visit findyellow.com.
Miami is so much more than just a shopping destination, offering a variety of vacation experiences. And regular Miami airfares are now from just $182 CI round trip, including taxes, with Cayman Airways. Call 949-2311 or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Arch and Godfrey's Construction, builders of many of the Cayman Islands' most prestigious buildings over the past 5 decades, including Appleby Tower, Watercolors Condominiums, and Governor Square. Yes, these are just prime examples of Arch and Godfrey's tradition of excellence in construction. Arch, a name that is synonymous with building in the Cayman Islands for over a century. Arch and Godfrey, the Cayman Islands' premier builders. Call them today at 949-2370 or online at www.arch-godfrey.ky.
Hi, I'm Colin Lumsden, the Georgetown manager and head of the Revitalization Initiative. Our capital city is the heart of business activities in the Cayman Islands, and we would like to bring it back as a center of social activities, with street-side cafes, green spaces, improved roads, and proper walkways for interconnectivity. The new cruise and cargo port is part of the plan and will allow for operators to meet passengers dockside with less lines and overcrowding. Cargo operations will be less intrusive. There will be pedestrianized areas for people to safely walk, shop, and dine. Modernizing the cruise and cargo port is a key element in the efforts to revitalizing our capital city.
Talk today.
But I do have some questions.
Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back to Talk Today. It's open line. Thank you so much for sharing, for listening. And we look forward to your continued contribution as we invite you to call 949-8037, 949-6990, or you can use our toll-free number, 1-800-534-8255, or you can WhatsApp 925-3261. And a few quick sentiments have come through on or WhatsApp and the like, I'll share with you. But to those who are listening, it's open line, so if you want to share your thoughts on any of the other issues, go right ahead.
a couple of individuals have weighed in on this whole question, for whom we're developing. One person has shared, said in the past, the idea was they were talking about in implying that it was the foreign developer, the foreign investor. But perhaps a person says the narrative and discussion should be changed to set around what about future generations of Caymanians, future generations of people who are going to be living and working here. Are we considering the impact of the present development? This person lists a number of things, not just the available land for development, for that would be investor or developer. What about the cost of acquiring that land, whether it's for a home or a business or future infrastructure needs? The other person has also weighed in and suggested that if we continue at this pace, would we become in such an expensive state that not only can we who live and work here be unable to continue to live and work here, but would we put ourselves in a price bracket far removed from any of our competition? And would we then have, as this person terms it, truly kill the goose that laid the golden egg? Well, what is your thought? 949-837 1-800-534-8255. Another person has weighed in on the issue of the environment and says, yes, it's good that we look at the litter on the roads, and good to see cleanup initiatives, whether funded by government, private sector entities or the like, and yes, it's need to enforce penalties. But this one questions the whole issue of development along the coast, and references what's in the media now. The government is about to spend $1 million or more to do some coastal works because of erosion at the Cabo Public Beach, and poses the question, well, if we do any more development along 7 Mile Beach, or we do anything in the harbour in relation to the port, what impact would that have on the surrounding coastlines? Well, I think the question was worded a little bit differently, but unless the writer doesn't like the way I tried to phrase it in a much more, diplomatic way, listen, I'm not going to take away your voice, so you can call and be as impassioned as you wish. Sometimes people believe that expletives add emphasis. Sometimes it just takes away from the otherwise, good point. But nonetheless, share your thoughts with us. 949-8837, 1-800-534-8255. Now, some of you may have read, some of you may have been aware of it prior. The former, Minister for Health, Honorable Osborne Borden, has been one that has not been afraid to sort of, as he has shared from time to time, think outside the box. It could be that tall, imposing stature that he weighs around, or it could just be that, because of his experience and exposure, he's had a chance to see. But he is questioned, the whole issue that many of you have shared. What are we doing relative to our infrastructure development? And for those of us who maybe, because of an early morning appointment, that we have to travel to Bordentown, Northside, East End, and we see, as a caller earlier shared, the very first call I believe was, that the traffic at 7:30 in the mornings, bumper to bumper coming out of our eastern districts into town. Now, whether those vehicles continue, onto West Bay Road or other areas, sort of further north, the fact that in there we have school children coming to school who some have shared, are not unlike other larger populations in developed areas where the children up from 5 o'clock early in the mornings in order to get to school for 8 o'clock. Now, a short distance and such an extended drive, is there something that we should be doing? Is there something that we can do? Not only build more roads or more ways to hold more cars, but what about as I've shared with you some students. Now, these are high school students, some of whom may have an interest in urban planning, some of whom considered engineering as a career. But as they experience coming to schools in the morning, they're saying, is there something that we can and should be doing? Well, when we come back from our news headlines, want to share with us in relation to our infrastructure, what can and should we do, is, banning, limiting the number of vehicles on our roads an answer? And if so, well, do we say limits per household? Do we say, anybody with, bald head can't have a car or on a work permit, or if they're, over 35? I mean, it's not to be facetious and funny, but maybe it starts a dialogue. When we come back, I want to hear from you. So please stay tuned for Talk Today.
Follow Radio K-Man on Twitter. All the latest information, breaking news, community events, and more. Follow us at twitter.com/Radio K-Man.
Radio K-Man.
Radio K-Man's newsroom. These are the biggest stories right now.
Training, Development and Safety Officer for the Public Works Department, Levi Allen, has been named 2018 Employee of the Year ceremony at the Harkwell Theatre. Mr. Allen was the sole candidate to have been nominated this year under the theme of talent development. This category was selected due to his leadership of PWD's Construction Trades Apprenticeship Program, one of the main projects which led to his nomination for the Deputy Governor's Award. Good afternoon, I'm Dion Anglin with your headlines and news elsewhere. U.S. President Donald Trump says his enemies who did evil and treacherous things will be under scrutiny after he was absolved of colluding with Russia. Speaking in the Oval Office, he said no other president should have to be investigated over a false narrative. He spoke a day after the Attorney General released a summary of Special Counsel Robert Mueller's completed report, which clears Mr. Trump of conspiring with Russia to steal the U.S. 2016 election. Theresa May says she does not have enough support to win a vote on her EU withdrawal deal as things stand. She said she would continue trying to get MPs to back it before putting it to the Commons for a third time this week. She told MPs the votes could lead to an outcome that is unnegotiable with the EU. And Scott Walker, one of the most enigmatic and influential figures in rock history, has died at the age of 76. The U.S. star found fame as a teen idol in the Walker Brothers, scoring hits with The Sun Ain't Gonna Shine Anymore and Make It Easy on Yourself. Walker's death was confirmed by his current record label, 4AD. That's a wrap of your headlines. I'm Dion Anglin.
Radio K-Man, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
What's happening in your community? News and information, music and more. You can find us. www.radiokman.gov.ky. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Radio K-Man is your choice, your voice for today's biggest news. Radio K-Man.
Talk today.
But I do have some questions.
Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back to Talk Today. It's open line. Let's hear your thoughts and share with you. 949-8837, 949-6990. Of course, the toll-free line with the compliments of Flo is still available to us. 1-800-534-TALK, 1-800-534-8255, or you can WhatsApp 925-3261. Share your thoughts. Let us hear from you as you wish. Now, the whole issue of sort of infrastructure development. I must share that increasingly it's good to see a number of individuals sharing their thoughts, and with the greatest respect to all of us, when it is our students, no, not just high school students or students who are either in college or getting ready to graduate from college, or who have returned, whether they've done their undergraduate, postgraduate, or others, but even sometimes, and I say this with the greatest respect, if we as adults would just allow our children, our students, as I call them, whether they're ours, biological, adopted, or otherwise, just to talk, ask them questions, ask them to share their views, their opinions, what they would like, Cayman to look like when they grow up, what concerns them now. It would surprise many of us how not only informed, how not only articulate, but sometimes how they repeat things that we wish we hadn't said, how they say things that we wish we had thought of, but how often the things that we share influence them. And you talk about as a parent modeling behavior for your children, but in the absence of all of that, and you have, as I have access to some teachers from time to time who share, not talking out of school, not breaking any confidences, just very proudly sharing that the joy of being a teacher, even with increased pay, it doesn't necessarily compensate for all the other, this is my word, not theirs, the grief, the struggles, the hassles, the frustrations that they must have. But that shared joy of seeing these students engage and are willing at times to reflect not just on things that are happening here or regionally, but internationally, their abilities to comment, and equally to see some of these students very, very, obviously conscious of things that are happening and understanding that their information, their news are increasingly coming from sometimes, the most unlikely of sources. Other times, and this is where as adults we have to continually nurture and be able to create a safe environment, but also allow our children to do what it is that we talk our education system isn't doing, become critical consumers and thinkers, being able to constructively assess things and analyze, but as they deconstruct certain things and if they come up with a contrary view, to not demoralize them. Now, one teacher was sharing that as these students were talking about the challenges of getting into schools sometimes in the mornings because they wanted to do a particular early morning sort of session before the official school day. It meant that either the parents had to leave home or the bus had to be able to get in early or catch the early bus. Now, what does that do for that household and for that individual? Is there a better, more efficient, effective way to move the population from point A to point B? Now, over the years, people have talked about, creating some sort of flex time. So not everybody has to be in at the same time. Some, when they hear the notion, we have a 4-day work week, they automatically assume, people are trying to be lazy and they want to, bugger off, as one fellow says it all the time. But when you look at some of the examples and the practices of, some of the European countries, you see productivity increasing, you see the efficiencies, you see the health and exercise and the participation, the quality of life significantly improving. Is there something that can be had here? Now, likewise, what about moving people? How many of us could, when we look at our households and recognize that we have, multiple cars, because it is convenient, because it is challenging to be able to move around this country without private transport, could we say for a couple of days share a car with other family members, not even with our co-workers? Are we prepared to do that? Is that an inconvenience to us? Now, if we were to do the analysis of the cost of a vehicle, not just the purchase, but the maintenance, the licensing, the insurance, upkeep, all of the other things, is it really an economic way to spend our limited resources? Now, equally, do we look more perhaps at how a better managed, organized, properly structured public transport system could operate? Is it a way that when we've built our roads that is already too late, as some of you have shared, to even put in some sort of tram system? The inabilities of our expanded roads to move it down the middle is there. We don't have the interconnected hubs in order to have people load and unload. Now, is that to our detriment, and will our future generations look at us and be appalled? Well, what is your thought? 949-8037, 949-8037, or 949-6990. Now, likewise, as we look at the development, some of you have questioned, what has taken us so long to consider, building our buildings, 50 and 100 stories. You look around the world, whether it's Singapore or some of the other Caribbean territories nearby, or whether it's in North America or other places. Why are we not willing to move beyond 5 stories or 10 stories or 15 stories or 50 stories? Should we not look at the limited land space and ensure that we do that? Now, some of you have shared that unfortunately with everything, we don't seemingly structure anything properly. We are, as he puts it, just too greedy. And we are, greed and haste, we always put, the cart before the horse. Let's go to our phones. Hey, good afternoon and welcome. You're on Talk Today.
Yeah, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon to you. How are you?
How are you?
Man, I am very, very, very blessed. How about you?
Oh, I'm thankful, my dear.
Amen to that.
Paula here.
Miss Paula.
All right, this is what my suggestions would be. Limiting the amount of cars. Like you said, so much per household. Improve on the, the public bus. Because what I'm finding, Dwayne, is sometimes when I'm coming from the east side of the island, because of traffic, a lot of times the public buses would say, okay, I'm going to go through, like Point Dexter Road, and come out by like Prospect, or I think it's Prospect or Red Bay, that takes you down behind Patrick's Island Marina Drive there. And then the police is there telling you can't go through. So even them is a hindrance. But at the same time, also work permit holders. I don't think a husband, a wife, everyone in the household should have a car. So I think you should limit the amount of cars, maybe one per household for work permit holders. And then on the other hand, you have, you also on the people that live here, the families, you can say maybe 2 per household. And in addition to that, you can do like a ferry service. Like you ever seen, like up in the States, you you drive onto the ferry with your vehicle, and you could take people from like North Side over like to Camana Bay. Like how we have a ferry service now for people, we could probably have one that would have, you can drive you and your car on top there. And then once you hit Camana Bay, even if you don't have any that would say drive, in your car onto the ferry, you could have the ferry service, make that a permanent thing, and then you tell people you can catch public buses or, I'm just making a few suggestions, throwing it out there.
Fair enough. Now, with the ferry service, though,
because even on the work permit holders, when they leave here, the car stays here. Yeah? So I really believe that we should limit the amount of cars per household, limit one to permit holders, like their household, only allow them to have one, because, it's the heavy traffic, the pollution. We're getting more cars since we have gotten, we have done great on infrastructure, but you got to look at vehicles coming into the islands.
Yeah. Now, do you think that as we look at this whole issue of the amount of cars, whether it's a limit per household, it's a limit on work permit holders, if it's a limit on some other thing, I mean, in and of itself, do you think that's going to address the issue in significantly and in the long term?
To be honest with you, these are good suggestions, because Cayman is a very small place. You've got big companies here. A lot of them live, in one area. So maybe you can even try carpooling. I mean, even for schools, businesses. I know that there were times when my friends couldn't make it, up to Boy Scouts in the afternoon because they were in traffic or they weren't able to drop off their kids. Then I would drop their kids for them. You see what I'm saying? So I just believe that there's a lot of ways and means to get around this, like ferry services, like limiting vehicles per household, like I suggested. I just believe we tend to create a lot of policies and different things, but we don't have policemen to police the policies. And so I really believe that we have got to cut down. We have got that when we leave Cayman, we leave, have more of a greener footprint than, having all this pollution. Because think about it. All these cars do put out carbon dioxide, right?
Mm-hmm.
And all of that is harmful emissions to the environment. So I just believe that if you're a work permit holder, you're going to buy a car, then take the car with you when you leave. How about that? Because you're going to leave it on the island. And then when you hear someone can't buy it or no one doesn't want this, and then you got people ordering, you got a ton of people ordering from overseas. Whereas you got a lot of companies here that if you wish to order, they have business already established, go through them. People are going direct and doing their own thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know what? It's something to share. I appreciate you relaying that to us. Let's see what the other caller. Anything else you want to...
No,
okay.
Just probably throw that out at you. Anyway, you have a good one, okay?
Thank you for throwing it up, and I'll put it in the pad right here. Let's go to the next line. Welcome, you're on Talk Today.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you today?
Fine, thank you.
Oh, blessed.
Yeah, thank you.
Amen. Yep.
Calling regarding suggestion with Paula, what she did, she made some very good comments. And we all need to, the government needs, we have reached a stage now that we need to put some laws in place that it be enforced. For instance, those cars, we got a lot of people that are bringing in cars. If you watch it every weekend, there's at least 300 to 400 cars coming into this island. I was talking to my grandson a few months ago, going to school, and he said to us, we were talking about the traffic jam. He said, Mom, you know what the problem is? He said, we got cars coming in, but the old cars are still being left on the road. He said, what government needs to do is they need to put a policy in place that after a certain amount of years, that old vehicle has to be taken off or shipped out or whatever. And like Paula said, when these expats buy their vehicles, they should have to take them with them, because leaving them here, it's still going to be on our road. And especially the Eastern District, the traffic is getting worse. Because it can take you 2 hours. If you catch at 5 minutes after 6 in the morning, you can't get Georgetown before 9 o'clock. I've done it more than one time, so I know. And it is getting worse every day. So we need to put something in place now, because we got so much old cars. Some of them they're not roadworthy, because a lot of the system is we know is well corrupted, and there are a lot of those cars that are getting passed. I don't know how they're getting passed. That's not even roadworthy, and we need to put some teeth that these cars has, whether they have to come back into at a certain age to come back into license to be inspected properly, that they're roadworthy, because some of them don't have indicators, they don't have brake lights, they're driving unroadworthy. Some of them, we still got vehicles on the road that are driving without license and insurance. We need to do something. It is getting out of control. And if we got 60,000 people now, we got this problem now, and the government is talking about that we need 100 people and over, 100,000 over. What are we going to do with another 4,000 people if we can't control God now? We got enough mass as it is now, and we don't need any more people. What we need control of what we got.
But how do we move forward then? I think that men listening to you would recognize that we have been perhaps oblivious to what is going on, or being unable or unwilling to even acknowledge it. So what do we do going forward, starting now?
Well, again, we need to go back to the drawing board to look at, especially if we're talking about all these vehicles now and everything. If we put a policy in place like a lot of the other countries, and we're small too, and we have even that much less resources than most of them. A lot of them are putting policies in place. Say, for instance, if a car is 15 years old, by the time a car gets 15 years old, it has wore out its time. They're deteriorating, they're dropping apart on the road, they're breaking down, whatever. So we say, okay, every 10, 15 years, that car has to be, if you're going to bring in a new car, in order for you to put another car in your name, the older car has to come off the road. And
then what do we do with that car then?
Well, they export it, or it is the owner's responsibility. Again, government needs to put a policy that car has to be taken out of Cayman, because if you look at the dump, it's nothing. All we got is a load of junk cars up there. That's what happening. They're breaking down on the road, and they're filling up our landfill. Our landfill is higher than probably in the mountain up in the other part of the world, and it's just pure garbage.
Some would say about some of our buildings too, with people in it.
But past our buildings long time. It's all this one nowadays. Now, do now is the 50 story one that they want to put it now.
Yeah.
Because Mount Trashmore has passed everything else, so they had the 50 story one had to go up now in order to be able to say that they're about the garbage. So, but we need to face reality. I mean, if the younger generation can see this is a problem, why can't we as older people not see it?
That's a good question. All right. Anything else you want to share with us?
No, that's it.
All right. Thank you for listening and sharing. And thanks so much. I remind you to have a break. The call in the line respectfully won't be able too long. Stay tuned.
Awake your taste at Daily Grind Cafe, Cayman's longest running coffee shop. Enjoy our cozy ambiance at Dr. Roy Drive, Georgetown. Or visit us online to view our delectable menu and for limited time offers at dailygrindcayman.com.
The Country Top 40 just keeps rolling on.
Hi, this is Bob Kingsley, and this weekend on the countdown, the 40 hottest hits on the radio right here.
CT40.
This here's Saturday afternoon
from 12:15 until 3:30.
CT40 milestone.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Hello, I'm Joseph Woods, the Acting Port Director. Our port facility is the hub of the Cayman Islands commerce and economic activity, handling $658 million in imported goods annually. From groceries to construction materials, all sectors of our economy depend on the port. But it is now 40 years old. Its infrastructure is degrading, and we feel the strain from insufficient space for both cargo and cruise operations. The time is now. A new expanded port facility is needed to allow both cargo and cruise to operate efficiently and to support our island's continued growth and development. Support the port, support our tourism, support Cayman's continued growth and development.
Talk today.
But I do have some questions.
Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Good afternoon. Welcome back to Talk Today. It's open line. Thank you for listening and sharing. And as we go to our phones, welcome. You're on Talk Today.
Hello.
Hey, how are you today?
Yes, sir. I'm fine. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, man.
Rambo. Yes, sir. I'm biggest left. I conduct myself today, right? You see, in the pipe making, right? In the making, there's been a divergence rate of 100,000, right, for meditation. Population growth now, publicized over the years now.
Right.
So that's not rude awakening, you know. That's not new.
Right.
So all that is a myriad of flaws. You know, right? So, like I said again, now this morning I contributed on our previous talk show by the social media. I wasn't vocal, right? But the same thing, the call before, but the favorites, I suggested that, right? In the public transport now, it should be 24 hours. Operate sufficiently, right? 1/3 of 24 hours is 8 hours, right? And who can import vehicles is the locals, natives, and allegiance on permanent residents. Right? In the permanent residents, you tax them extra, right? You read them, right? So that can actually discourage them, a destitution of not importing a vehicle, but money making down here, you want to tell you? And those which I see now, right, is very inconvenient. The best element, you improvise and leave early, or carpool, right? Simple,
right?
And Sterling, I actually subject no. You see the Bank of England, right? They run in a monetary policy, right? And the treasury is a fiscal policy. And I might as well call him King Charles, because his mother died hard now, right? Queen Elizabeth, under the monarchy, right? And he's stepping after the mother. We shut our eyes now. He's the king now. So I hope you prepare what's going on, and I'll be coming tomorrow. You watch, you bought a character, he's the column. You see, we hear about, you want to tell you? This thing your mother has to stand now. You want to tell you? And I always, them drums there, right, about independence, but listen, Smell the coffee brewing. Smell it. You see what Cuba all day? You want to know? No? In Sterling, I told you Friday, but Russia thing, you see down in troops going on there? 25 tons for Russia. And now Sterling, like I said again, the skyscraper, it's dark premises, it's going up, directly going up.
So you think the skyscraper is a done deal? The port is a done deal?
The port going through, more like that. It's Sterling, like I try to tell you, with the governor Children, and I signed for the petition. I can see through that waste of time, waste of breath, right? And I signed for it. In the port petition, and I signed for it. That waste of time. Over 9 months now, I try to conceive it. And I signed for it. That port going through more like that. And I support the port too. Right? Even I support the port or not, right? But and I signed for the petition. That waste of time. Right? I don't even harsh towards the boy, but I straight up, yeah, sir.
But then, I really appreciate you sharing your perspective. But then, so those two things, right? So those who say one, that if you just specifically relating to the call for a referendum on the port, people say one, if you sign it, that means that you are being perceived to be against it. Why is that perception there, you think?
You see, in the Cayman Islands, right? People operate from before time in Memorial, operate that way.
Okay.
They're scared, you know.
Okay.
We're not communist country, so I know what scared about. You see, I can tell phone call you.
Right.
I go social media. You come from?
Yeah, man.
So like I said, when I finish, right? The monarchy reigning, Union Jack, you know, he the king, you know. So
yeah,
he probably left closed door on us. Independence. So you know that business different now.
All right, well, it seems to be done. Well, thanks very much, man. Thank you for sharing. And I always enjoy you and others like you who put your perspective, but also a very considered one. Enjoy your afternoon, man. And to our listeners, the second question I want to ask, and it's not a question for one individual, if you wish to weigh in. When we look at projects like the port, when we look at some major infrastructure projects, whether we're going to construct new roads and other, do you think, and let's speak specifically to the port, because as the caller has shared and others have inferred and some have been very specific, it's a done deal. They expect it to be very imminent, but certainly it's a project that is on the table as it is. We're seeing much discussion. We're seeing public PR by the government is saying it's essential, as an essential to our continued progress and the like. The question, should projects like that and the port, should that be something that the wider populace has a chance to weigh in to say whether we want it? Should the location of it be open to public input, or should it be just like everything? If the government of the day decides this, then this is what it'll be, where it'll be, when it'll be. There are probably many perspectives. What is yours? 949-8037, 949-6990, or 1-800-534-8255. Now, just with the port alone, I can share that some of you who've said, listen, very much in favor of the port, whether it goes here, there, or anywhere, but, and then they have a list of, questions. Well, do we know what it's going to look like? Do we know how much it's going to cost? Why is this and why is that? And these are some supporters. And then there are some who said they are opposed to the port where it is, but would be in favor of a port if it's here or here or here. And then there have been, equally a number of individuals who said we definitely need to do something, but I don't know where and when and how much, because we haven't, and this is their perspective, we haven't seen sufficient comparison to know, do we choose between choice A, choice B, or choice C? Let's go to our phones. Welcome, you're on Talk Today.
Yeah, Mr. Dwayne.
Good afternoon, how are you?
Yeah, good afternoon, sir. I'm sitting down here listening to the show, and I sound very interested with the whole car there, man, with a lot of whole car on the street.
Mm-hmm.
Because in Windsor Park there, if you turn on Templeton Street,
yes, sir.
Oh my God, it's about 1 million cars, and when rainfall, the here around here,
it's flooded.
It's water when rainfall for long, and The people, they leave the car there and they puncture them, you know. They make sure let the hear out the tires and have them on the sidewalk. And if you go right round to the park, to where the park is.
Right.
Oh, my God, it's probably about 1,000 cars out. And rot. And it all car have a rot, you know. Anywhere the cars them get hold on the bottom of them rot now. There's a lot of rot. I live in that area, and I saw rot running out of them. And it is not good, man. It's not good.
So what do we do, though? I mean, how? Well, first off, why, as a people, you know, all of us that live and work here, why do we do that to begin with?
People live in the island, man, and it's them leave the car, the old car, you know. They leave it and they just leave it on the street and leave it like that, you know.
Is it because, and some have shared this, right, and I don't want this to be an excuse for them or seen as such. Some have said, well, you know, when they bring their car in, they pay, and I think it's actually called a disposal fee, right, an environmental fee. So they say, well, we pay that, that means it has to be taken away. Some have said, well, there's nothing to, you know, no way to move it, so we just leave it there. We only paid $5 for it, so end of the day, it serves this purpose. What is the problem? What makes us do that?
If they're doing, I don't know how they're going to solve it, you know, because if somebody here and they're leaving and they have a whole car, then just leave it and it cannot drive, they just leave it and gone, you know, and that's it. And I don't know where government have to take that responsibility to move, especially in Windsor Park. It's bad around there. And a quick little topic here.
Yes, sir.
I was listening to a football match the other night.
Yeah.
And the commentary were very poor, man, and I don't know if they don't have no commentator we can commentate the match, man, because people love football and cricket and all of that. And if you're just watching a dead match, see the match playing, and you're not hearing no commentary, you know.
Yeah.
It not sound good, man. You know, it's like you're just watching something dead, man. And I think them Joel Francis, right? He used to do some good commentary, you know. I don't know what really happened. And if it's an international match like that play, and was advertising from days before, I think they should bring on. They should have a commentator, you know, where you can commentate the match. And when it just started, I heard a commentator come on and he talked about like 2 minutes, and then that's it. To watch, and I see a penalty, and I don't know how that penalty come, you know, where they score, and came and they beat for the first goal. That team go up to one.
What's
I
right?
don't know that, you know, if they have a commentator, then we could hear and said, oh, it's a foul or it's a handball, you know.
Exactly. I mean, we had done a couple of broadcasts with a fellow who used to work here, Koro Vakauta, and I used to enjoy not only listen to him commentate, but the few times that I worked alongside him, he has a lot of energy and enthusiasm. But respectfully though, even if you watch some of the football matches now, mostly in North America, the commentators are talking about everything except the match. So I just turn it down. You know, unless you're listening to the Spanish or the European commentators, someone don't really have a clue about what they're saying.
Yeah, right. But you know, Cayman, everybody in Cayman, they love most people. They love football.
Yeah, true.
If you're watching a match and you're not hearing no commentary, you know, it's not interesting, man. So I think they should even get Joel, man. Joel Francis is a good commentator, you know.
True, man. True. But Joel is a busy, high-powered executive now in government, man. I mean, you know, may have to get his people, you know, it's probably challenging to get in touch with him now because he got assistants. I think he's going to probably call me, tell me but you're right. Joel was a phenomenal commentator and excellent talk show host, so maybe we can contract him to, you know, commentate some of the big games to be played next time, huh?
Right. I'm not taking up too much of your time.
Not at all. So, but what about you? Yeah, what about you, man? Maybe you might commentate a game or two for us next time.
Yeah, well, I could do that, you know. I could do that.
What do you mean?
We used to just make joke and commentate racehorse, you know. Racehorse one time, you know, for fun, you know.
Not true.
Probably they could call me, man.
You know what? We should do that, you know.
Yeah, man. All right, do it. You take care.
You too, sir.
Have a good day. Yeah, man.
Yeah, listen, and for what it's worth, you know, when you go, reach out to environmental health, and if someone listen from there, with the greatest respect, don't leave it to the politicians or the government. And I know our civil servants have a lot on their plates, but as the caller shared, in many areas, for what it's worth, just take a drive through if cars are abandoned, see what we can do to move them. When we come back, we'll talk today.
All members of the Cayman Islands Civil Service Association, you are wanted. We need you to come to the annual business meetings to hear what's happening within your association, so that with your help, we can have a more productive year.
Mark your calendars for these important dates. Grand Cayman, Wednesday, April 10th 5:30 p.m. at the Georgetown Town Hall. And in Cayman Brac, Thursday, April 11th, 12:15 p.m. at the District Administration Building, upstairs, conference room.
Refreshments will be served at both meetings.
Come early, mix and mingle, and catch up with your fellow association members.
There will also be surprises at the meetings, but you have to be present to take part in the fun.
Remember our very important business meetings. Grand Cayman, Wednesday, April 10th, 5:30 p.m. at the Georgetown Town Hall. And in Cayman Brac, Thursday, April 11th, 12:15 p.m. at the District Administration Building, upstairs, conference room. We look forward to seeing you at the meetings.
Whether you're planning your child's next birthday party or simply looking for a social night out, look no further than Kingpin Bowling at King Sports Center.
With a range of packages and specials for bowling parties, socials, and corporate team building, Kingpin Bowling offers what no one else can. The only bowling alley in Cayman. And it's indoor fun, which means no mosquitoes, AC, and don't forget about their bowling bar. Book your bowling lanes today. Call 946-BOWL. That's 946-2495. Email kingpinbowling@candw.ky. For more information, visit their website, www.kingsportscenter.com.
King Sports Center, providing your fitness, recreation, and relaxation needs.
Excuse me, I noticed you from afar.
Really? Me?
Well, not you. The KFC sandwich you're eating?
Oh, Zinger.
Sorry, I'm not trying to be funny.
No, it's called the Zinger Sandwich. Crunchy, juicy, 100% chicken breast, crisp lettuce, sweet mayo on a seeded bun with a little zing. KFC's chicken is not factory breaded, frozen, and refried like the Burger Boys. Customize your KFC Zinger and dip it in barbecue sauce.
Wow, now I'm starting to notice you too.
KFC, it's finger licking good.
Talk today.
But I do have some questions.
Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back to Talk Today. Thanks for spending the afternoon with me. Tomorrow does indeed feel like a holiday, but it's not tomorrow. It's a Thursday. It's the day after. And unless I'm mistaken, I'm told that this is the first time, at least in a long time, if not forever, that we've had a Thursday holiday. If you know differently from our history, let us know, because that would be nice to know. But it's open line 949-8037, 949-8037, 949-6990. Of course, toll free 1-800-534-8255. Those are all the numbers that you can use to call us, whether here on Talk Today or for the record. And we also have the WhatsApp 925-3261. Now, as we were talking about traffic and infrastructure, we can see that the construction of new roads, extending roads, making the roads wider, yes, they cost. Sometimes some of you say, wow, how could that cost so much? Well, there are probably different reasons, but they can and they do alleviate traffic. Remember, some of you would say using the West Bay Road for lunch times, going to and from work in the mornings and in the afternoons, that it was horrendous. Now, seemingly, it's a much more accessible and convenient and easier, faster, quicker than the like. So would extending some of the roads further into the eastern districts alleviate traffic? Of course, the question then has to be asked, when we do new roads and we don't do other complementary things, would it just be in short order having to do it all over again? It's open line 949-8037, 949-6990, or toll free at 1-800-534-8255. A few notes that came through that we're looking at in relation to some of the things that we were sharing. Some of you would, sort of weighed in relation to our population growth. One individual said, is it that we're looking at 120,000? Is it 200,000? One person has asked, again, population increase, but where is the supporting infrastructure needed to, facilitate that increase? That has been worded a bit differently, but there we have that. And then this other one asks the question about our garbage, not just the collection, but the processing, not just the recycling, but how do we look at, reducing and also creating waste energy. And then this other message here, as we wrote down looking at our notes here, has asked the whole question relative to why, as we look at our development, we're only concentrating on the 7 Mile Beach corridor. Why should a building height in that section, be 10, 15, 20, 50, 100 or more stories? Could we not do that in other parts? If they're not, going to work in those areas, why would they work in 7 Mile Beach? As a sort of added, I would say, an addendum to that, the person messages back and says, "Looks like we're trying to create a distinction between the southern end of 7 Mile Beach and the northern end. The northern being lower density, quieter." Now, as I looked at that message, it took me a second, and I recognized that when the road curves around the new Pimpton Hotel, it intersects. So you do have a section. Maybe it's no longer West Bay Road. There are two distinct sections. Maybe that's part of the lower appeal. A section on the south end from the West Bay Poly Beach coming into town could be the Miami Beach, South Beach Metropolis, and then the other end from Tim's Point coming down Holman Corner and coming north. Perhaps that could be a much lower density, but who knows? Maybe it'll all be one and the same in a short order. It'll be all inaccessible and unrecognizable. Hey, 949-8037, 949-6990, or 1-800-534-8255. And then I think, if I wrote it down correctly from the notes that came through, and hopefully I can read what I wrote, I think the person was sharing that when we look at the idea of increasing our building heights to increase the density, to allow more seemingly land space for greenery and the like, sounds good. But the question that this person asked is, we have higher buildings, mean more people occupying those buildings if they're residential or they're hotels or the like. But when those people come out of those buildings, if they're using the beach, there'll be more people on the beach because there are more people, per square foot, square inch, square mile in that particular area. Then the impact of those, people by having an increased population means that potentially, more need for roads and the like. And the person asked the question, are we accommodating for that before we increase the developments, or are we going to wait and then have a knee-jerk reaction? Well, your thoughts. 949-8037, 949-6990, or equally toll free at 1-800-534-8255. Someone sent through a snapshot of a comment shared by another, and I was looking at it to see how I can relate this, because it's obviously, the person shared, this is a posting by somebody else in relation to something that's been said, and how do I read and share that with you? It does speak to some of the topics that we're talking about in relation to development and infrastructure. This person's comment on the posting is that this is something that we all think some must say but lack the courage to do so. Now, as I read what was posted, it's obvious that the person sharing the sentiment has the view that it seems that we're looking very short term. Maybe we'll make more profit if we're selling or developing the property, whether as a realtor, the developer, or the contractor, or otherwise. As a government, we'll get more money if we're collecting the duties and the like, the stamp tax, I think this person calls it. But the question was asked, what does that mean long term for the viability of the country, the economy, the social harmony, the economic prosperity, and the needs to service the infrastructure? the person sharing the comment says, yes, buildings can't be uprooted and taken, but they can be left vacant and become derelict. Well, what are your thoughts? 949-8037, 1-800-534-TALK. It's our 1:45 break. We'll take that when we come back. Are you going to share your thoughts with us? Well, hope so. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
A caring and community spirit, cherished family and cultural values. These are some of the things that still embodies the Caymanian way of life in the Eastern Districts today. Savannah Pharmacy, your neighborhood pharmacy, located in Countryside Shopping Village, is delighted to offer products and services of real value. Whether it's catering to your family's medical needs or carrying apparel, gifts, and beauty products, Savannah Pharmacy provides you with more than just prescriptions. Remember, they're always just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays. Savannah Pharmacy. For more information, call 946-3336.
This Easter weekend, the Cayman Islands will welcome the rest of the Caribbean, and you do not want to miss it. Carifta 2019 takes place at the Truman Bodden Sports Complex from April 20th to 22nd. Watch the region's most talented track and field athletes compete and come cheer on your Cayman athletes. Get ready to raise your flags at the Caribbean's biggest athletic event this Easter weekend. It's Carifta 2019. Tickets start as low as $10. On sale now at CaymanCarifta2019.ky. See you at the games.
Carifta 2019. It's all about unity and together.
Get your tickets now at CaymanCarifta2019.ky. Brought to you by the Cayman Islands Government, CUC, Salt Technology Group, the Cayman Islands Athletic Association, DART, Miracle Broker, Maples Group, Pinnacle Media, World Gym, and Radio Cayman.
Save time, don't stand in line. You can apply for or renew your trade and business license online 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Just visit dci.gov.ky and click on the trade and business online application link. Now, you don't need to stand in line, take time out of your busy schedule or try to find parking. You can apply for your trade and business license online. Visit dci.gov.ky today and save time for running your business.
Don't forget to tune in every Monday through Friday for the 7 a.m. news, brought to you by Cayman National Bank, proudly serving the Cayman Islands since 1974. Visit Cayman National Bank today for all of your financial needs.
The Department of Environmental Health is committed to picking up your garbage. To avoid delays, please place all of your household garbage in large bags. Do not overfill garbage bags or place loose trash in containers. These risk lengthy stops, which in turn lead to greater delays. Inform your neighbors too. Their poorly packed garbage will delay your pickup as well. Bag it and bin it. We will collect it. Do your part. We will do ours. Brought to you by the Department of Environmental Health.
Talk today.
But I do have some questions.
Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back to Talk Today. 949-8037 or 1-800-534-8255. Quick look at a couple of emails that have come through, and I want to share with you some of the thoughts there. Another quick call off here by someone listening, and wanted to share that as well. But what about you? Feel encouraged and motivated, sufficiently enthused and impassioned to share your thoughts with us publicly? 949-8037, 1-800-534-8255. First, the caller off here, relaying quite simply that it seems that there's one thing that's sort of driving all that we do. And you want to guess what that word was? Greed. The person said, obviously, I'm repeating what they shared. I'm trying not to add any context to it, nor add or, any particular flavor. But the person says everything is about money. Greed, greed, greed. And is that what you think? And do you share that same view as well? That no matter what we're doing here, it's about greed. The more we can get, the more we can get now, the better we are now. The email or the text or whatever that was that I read, I was simply sharing that Cayman is trying to find its way no direction, no major plan. It seems to be, and the word that jumped out at me as I read it was a knee-jerk reaction to everything. Developer comes along and says, hey, let's have a 100-story building. Then it's a 100-story building. Developer comes along and says, you know what, we should have a tunnel. Well, it's a tunnel. As I read that sentiment and I was rereading it as we were coming back from the break, I was trying to appreciate the context of what the person may have been relaying. Is that the thing, that we don't have proper thought out long-term my impression of what was shared? Vision, objective, plan as to where we want to go, how we're going to get there. Some of you have talked about growth management strategies and growth management plans and how do we do these things. Words like carrying capacity and the like have always come into play. In recent times, sustainable development, nice words. Do we actually mean them? Do we actually understand the meaning of them? Are we willing to employ them? If it means, and I couple that with the phone call, greed. You get a chance today to look at something and you said in 100 years, me, the family and generations to come could be benefiting, but probably not as much as if today I did it and I get it all. No. Which one are we prepared to do? The long-term sustainable thing or the immediate short-term gain? What is it they say? Some of us would cut off our noses to spite our faces. We don't appreciate what it is down the road because we may not be here, so let's grab it while we can. What are your thoughts? 949-8037, 949-8037, 949-6990, or you can send us your thoughts on our WhatsApp, 925-3261. Now, the notion that for some of us it's easier sitting where we are because we're not in a driver's seat. We're not the ones being asked to make decisions. We're not the ones being lobbied, if that's a word that you'll accept. Not the ones that are being asked to consider these things. Hey, good afternoon and welcome. You're on Talk Today.
Hey, good afternoon, Dean. How are you?
Very well and thankful. How about yourself?
All right. I call in, they had some comments in regards to the road works. And,
if you have your phone on, your radio on or near you, you may find it a little bit more challenging, okay?
Yeah.
Because there'll be feedback.
As well.
Yeah.
All right, I got you now.
Got me now, man. All right, talk to me.
All right, yeah, Dean. I listened to two of the callers earlier, and they made some good points in regards to carpooling and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But we are now in a world, in a society, from where Cayman once was to where Cayman is. Carpooling and all that stuff is all good. But the problem that we have on hand is that we don't have no unification. That is a big thing.
Across the board, no matter what it is, huh?
It doesn't matter. Right across the board. You got family members that don't even want to talk to family members. You got neighbors that don't even say hi to you. So how can you carpool?
Yeah, you don't know each other. You have no interest in one another.
Right. When you look at it, all right, let's say, for example, you got one vehicle for a household of 4.
Mm-hmm.
And you got members that got to go, let's say, all right, you live in Savannah, for example, and you got 2 employees in Georgetown, one for East End and one for West Bay. Where do you start? How is that going to affect your employment?
Right.
How does your employer look at that?
Right. And as you share, I want to relay something that came in earlier, and I wasn't quite sure, but you give us an opportunity, so don't miss your point. But let me add this to it because I think it complements 2 things. The scenario is that just like you share, the workers have decided to carpool, so they've got a larger vehicle, but they don't live necessarily close together, right? But they all go to work at the same place, have to be at the same time. So one individual who is the driver of the week or the day, or whatever the case may be, goes and collects everybody else. But they're in traffic, so they all arrive in late because they're all in traffic. Yes, the 5 of them, or the 3 of them, or the 10 of them, however many it is, are in one vehicle, but they're still in traffic with all the other cars. And then the second thing is a scenario that was brought to us. Two individuals went to the bank to buy a vehicle. I don't know if it's a case that they couldn't qualify on their own. What I'm told is that they didn't need two vehicles, they needed one. But because of two things, the vehicles can't be licensed nor insured in multiple names, and two, the bank wasn't willing to lend jointly. They had to lend to one or the other, similar to what they do for properties that you purchase in if it's not a married couple and the like. And it was suggested that that was a hindrance to some people. If they're trying to buy a vehicle, legally have a stake in it, because the licensing, insurance, and banking requires it to be in the name of one. Now, do you think those things by themselves could be things that hinder some people from considering less vehicles?
Yes, but then you have to understand from the banking perspective, because what happens is you got to bear in mind now how the law also states when it comes on to ownership. Like you said, a vehicle cannot be licensed or insured in multiple names. It either have to be in one individual or a company.
But why not? Why can't husband and wife or two friends say, we own this vehicle, it's in John Ebanks' name and Jim Ebanks' name. Why can't two people have their name registered on the title to the vehicle?
Because the law, how the traffic law is written, is stated as an individual.
But why?
But again, it comes back down to legalities. It comes back down to where revisions have to be taking place, amendments of the laws would have to be taken.
Okay. You
would have to amend the law, because as long as the law says individual, and when it's singular not plural, then you have an issue.
Mm-hmm. So I hear what you're saying. Yeah.
All right.
Okay. But what else do we do? How do we address first off, do you think that enough of us acknowledge that there may be a problem relative to the traffic congestion?
Well, it's not a case of whether there may be a problem. We do have a dilemma on hand.
You think so? Okay.
Yes, but what are we going to do about it? People, you just can't wake up overnight. The thing is, we can discuss stuff, and by discussing stuff, then you'll find, whereas it will take time, and then you can come with real propositions. But you just can't jump up and just say, okay, well, get rid of this and get rid of that.
Yeah.
Don't discriminate in regards to, you got to look at stuff whereas you say, well, you got vehicles or owners are expats, so therefore expat can't own this and all that. That's discrimination. You got to bear in mind that we're supposed to be a democratic society.
Right.
We don't want to go there. But, people look at it, some people say, well, after, like I heard a caller say something to the effect of when a vehicle is 15 years, then it needs to come off the street. I don't agree with that, because you also have vehicles where also value goes back up. That's why they call them antiques.
Right.
So keep your property.
What do you think are some of the possible solutions to address not only the frustration, the traffic congestion, the environmental pollution, but maybe the need for government not to have to spend so much money on building so much infrastructure? What do you think are some of the things we could do?
Well, in regard to minimize?
To improve the situation and make it more accessible, make it easier and better and faster for people to get to where they need to go.
Well, again, you have to, you look at stuff where, like one caller said, let's talk about ferries and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Again, you also have to look at the cost for the operation of those ferries, the cost for individuals to use those ferries, because they're not even going to run for free. They're not going to poor people for free.
Yeah.
We are individuals now. We are already suffering as it is. You got people here who have to try to get 2 and 3 jobs just to try to make ends meet as it is.
Right. Do you think a cable car system, now there's probably a better name for it, but those things that we see at resorts, ski lifts and the like, where people get into this thing and suspended over the roadway, and a couple of wires stringing it together, and you move 4 or 40 people depending on the size of it, from the resort to the ski slopes.
Similar to the electrical trolleys, what they call it.
Yeah, but these are ones up in the sky, suspended from big pylons and do you think they would be viable here in Cayman?
It's something could be utilized, but you you also know you got to take into account how many people are going to use that. You know,
all right.
Some people, what about fear? People who has fear of height.
All right. Well, is there terrain sufficient that we could build underground tunnels of some sort where we, like a subway system that is running under the ground?
Yeah, but I mean, again, it's hard for here because you're looking at an island and you're looking at water tables and all that stuff. I mean, they're great propositions, but at the end of the day, you know, is it feasible?
Right.
I mean, you can just jump up and suggest all these stuff, but I mean, we have to be realistic to what it is.
Yeah. Have we looked at that sufficiently, I think, to wonder if, you know, would this be, or are we so, you know, as one child says, judgy? You're so judgmental that we're not willing to brainstorm and say, okay, you know, what are possible things? What are other countries doing to address this? Could we just throw ideas out there and see if something actually is workable, even though it may seem to be unorthodox? I mean, are we willing to embrace that? Are we at that point yet?
Well, the problem that we have here as Caymanians, we do not stand for anything, period. We're too gullible. We accept what is given to us, you know, and when we start to try to say we're going to join forces and work together, they just basically just take things and just walk away. No, I think nobody stands solid.
Yeah, man.
It is what it is. I mean, we can say what we got to say, and people want to admit the fact or not, but it is what it is.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
We was to stand strong and stand firm with together, united as one, we will achieve a lot.
I agree with you, man. I agree with you. Listen, thank you for sharing. Please feel, you know, invited to join us. Can be respectful, though. Not pay attention to the news break. So we talk to you again another time.
All right, take care.
You too, my friend. And to the callers, please don't go away. When we come back, we'll get to you right after.
From district to district, moving through the waters to Cayman Brack and Little Cayman. Your station, your voice. All things Cayman. One radio, many people. This is home.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman.
Radio Cayman's newsroom. Headline. These are the biggest stories right now.
The Ministry of Education, Youth, Sports, Agriculture and Lands will hold its 2019 Inter-Primary Track and Field event at the Truman Bodden Sports Complex on April 5th from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Good afternoon, I'm Dion Anglin with your headlines and news elsewhere. Venezuela's government has told workers and students to stay at home as the country faces a second day without electricity. Hospitals, public transport, water and other services have been affected. The capital, Caracas, was first plunged into darkness on Monday. Power was restored 4 hours later before a second blackout struck. The European Parliament has backed a proposal to stop the obligatory 1-hour clock change, which extends daylight hours in summer EU-wide. The proposal requires states to stop the twice-yearly clock change from 2021 and choose either permanent summertime or wintertime. Ministers will also have a say on this. And prosecutors have dropped all charges against U.S. actor Jussie Smollett for allegedly staging a racist and homophobic attack. The Empire star attended a court hearing in Chicago today where a judge sealed the case. 36-year-old Smollett pleaded not guilty this month to 16 counts of disorderly conduct for allegedly lying to police. That's a wrap of your headlines. I'm Dion Anglin.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
What's happening in your community? News and information, music and more. You can find us. www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Radio Cayman is your choice, your voice for today's biggest news. Radio Cayman.
Talk today.
But I do have some questions.
Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back to Talk Today. It's open line. A couple of callers waiting for us. Thank you so much for joining. Good afternoon. You're on Talk Today.
Hello.
Hey, good afternoon, man. Welcome back.
Yes, sir, back then. So, I get this off my chest and conscience, right?
Yes, sir.
Right? My whole introspection or contemplation, right? Or how I delegate, outline, how, right? Okay, starting head to beat now.
Mm-hmm.
I worked with start in the past, right? Doing construction from 2003 to 2008, different phases, right? And I worked on a day, 2 different projects. If people were criticizing it, if people go there and praise it, right? In each of that development, they still the art infrastructure. Do I tell you? Still the art around the region or probably around the hemisphere. Yeah? And that indelible, right? No retraction. You know, moving there. That is the state. Can you local, obviously? Right? And the whole project make now, this whole mantra, like I say again, I see up Newlands, like 11 years ago, they were against the J. Scott by countryside. People complain about it. And everybody go there now. I go there by bank transaction. Right? I go there by bears rubber. Yeah? The my thing. But now came on this. Right? And like I said again, the favorite thing, you see that port bill, all intenders that they're not used, utilize them. You tell them? And the monorail, you talk about the monorail. They talk about the monorail above.
Right.
Like you see people like that, or tycoon people like that, like a money. You need to invest in the island. Don't know whether. Okay? Long-term plan and master plan. You understand me? It's something like I said again, some lucrative employers, right? They should utilize their personal private transport now for the employees now. Because they have money now. Contribute, right? You can utilize that carpool, a big coach, or on the bus, Greyhound bus, whatever you call it. Utilize it. You understand that?
But then,
the actually,
yeah, man.
The car space and traffic now decrease like marginally. Go ahead. Do you think?
Yeah, man. No, just saying. I mean, whether it's the monorail or whether we're using some sort of sky chairs or the like, there are things we can and perhaps should be considering. But the question then, as we look at the long-term vision and the development, is it that it's only in the hands of a small group, whether they're elected, whether they're appointed, whether they're a private sector entity, or should it be a national vision where more of us are, at the very least, aware of something before it's even being, proposed to be constructed?
Like so in both ways, the private sector and I say this in both ways, right? But let's say they don't want to have a draw line or parallel line. Say, listen, sanctions got appear now. There's certain things, certain benefits, whatever. If you're in Korea, you feel me, right? So you got draw a line.
Yeah.
Like I said early on, like I say, you draw a distance on the people on PR. If it's on a vehicle, right? You tax like extra, remunerate them, you put that up on them, so that discharge them, distribution. You tell them. You go to a local car dealer. If the person vehicle there, can they afford it? I doubt it. So that use public transport. So it's about this or that. You feel me?
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
So my question again, right?
Thank you. Thank you. More time, man. All right, let's try the next line. Hey, thank you so much for joining us. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Sterling. I don't have a lot of time, but I'm calling regarding the traffic situation.
Yes, sir.
There's an article in the papers today, written by Osborne Borden. I think it's an article that somebody needs to look seriously into because it's a very good thought of the article, and I tell you, it is in my opinion, it is probably going to be the saving grace for traffic, especially from the Eastern District, because I wouldn't live anywhere past Crew Road for nothing in this world. Because I mean the thing about it, you can't. My heart goes. Those people might leave home. They leave home 5:30 in the morning.
Yep.
And I know they said they'll get back home until around about 7 o'clock at night.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's unfortunate. And someone while I was on air dropped it to me as well. I talked about potentially looking at certain things, including should some sort of ferry or causeway or bridge or lake. Over the North Sound. Is that the one?
Well, this article speaks about a bridge over the North Sound.
Yeah, a number of things as well. Yeah.
I mean, so it really. I read the article. It got my attention. I tell you, because there needs to be something. I mean, we're very fortunate in West Bay. I can leave home at 8 o'clock and be in any part of Georgetown by say 8:15. I mean. Yep. That's how fortunate we are. and you know, we don't have that situation to cope with anymore.
Right.
But that is because we have been privileged to having you know, 2 lanes going, 2 lanes coming.
Right. If I can ask you, I know you did say you're quite busy, how much time, so, but thank you for waiting earlier. 2 things. Given what the traffic situation is like now, do you think that it'll continue that way if our pace of development, if the amount of cars, if we don't do anything else to sort of ensure that it's sustainable? Can you see down the road that the traffic going in and out of West Bay being as bad as it was or as bad as it is going in and out of the eastern districts?
Well, for some reason I can't see that. I don't see that happening anytime soon. But I think that I'm not familiar with the laws in I think it's Bermuda.
Mm-hmm.
That I understand that as a visitor you can't own any personal transport. Is what I understand.
Other than a moped or something?
Other than a moped or something.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps the government has got to start looking towards something like that. I mean, and then you'll see the public transport system being utilized more.
But do we have a public transport system?
Well,
not really, right?
What? Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, it's not. It is not. Well, I know that they have been trying to get it sort of regularized, but I mean, you know, after a certain hour of the evening, there is none to get. You know?
Right, and the reason why I say that, and that's not, you know, some of us out there are malicious, so they'll misconstrue what was shared. But if you speak, as I know you probably do, like so many, to the operators out there, you know, they work hard, they work long hours, right? But they're private sort of contractors, they're, you know, entrepreneurs, and public transport, as we understand it, is something that is either supported, subsidized, or regulated, or somehow operated in tandem with the government. Right? Now, do we have that problem or not? Or is it a perception, especially by those who are new to the country, whether as visitor or, you know, first time work permit holder, that when they get on, is it the same that is seen in North America or Europe? Probably not. How do we get there? Do you recall, in your recollection, what was the traffic like in and out of West Bay before the new roads were constructed?
Horrible.
All right. What sort of delays?
Horrible. It would take you a year of Sundays to get Georgetown.
Yeah, in the mornings and in the afternoons?
In the mornings and going and coming. It was
lunch times, right? Lunch times, trying to go for lunch?
Yeah.
Christmas times were worse?
Oh, man.
Right.
So,
okay.
But look at how fortunate we are now. I mean,
13 to 17 minutes on a drive.
Right.
It is like you shared, you know, a great relief to the people, but then our friends and family coming from the eastern districts, 2 and 3 hours in traffic in the morning, 2 and 3 hours in the afternoon, and then the children, you know, leaving at 5:30 in the morning to get to school on time. If you go into youth group on a Friday evening or a Wednesday night church service, or you're visiting family, you're in traffic forever. By the time you get there, you got to come back home.
Exactly.
So what are we doing to address it?
You know, I recently read where the government, I think the government had committed to doing, I think 10 more miles. I believe that's what the government had committed to doing.
The extension of the East-West?
Yeah, of the East-West. I think I want to say I read that somewhere, that it was being proposed to do 10 more miles of that road. It may have been something that I don't remember the exact thing, but I think the government was committed to addressing the extension as far as it could go. But Dwayne, I'm going to have to leave you there.
Go ahead, man.
Yeah, so take care.
That's fine, man. Thank you for sharing, man. Thanks for highlighting the article, because I'm glad that someone, you know, brought it publicly. Hey, thanks very much. All right, quick break. When we come back, we're going to ask about, you know, what was shared by Honourable Osborne Borden in today's print edition of one of the dailies, and maybe some other things. Well, what are you going to say? Interested to hear. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Miami is so much more than just a shopping destination, offering a variety of vacation experiences. And regular Miami airfares are now from just $182 CI round trip, including taxes, with Cayman Airways. Call 949-2311 or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Awake your taste at Daily Grind Cafe, Cayman's longest-running coffee shop. Enjoy our cozy ambiance at Dr. Roy Drive, Georgetown. Or visit us online to view our delectable menu and for limited-time offers at dailygrindcayman.com.
Plastic pollution is a global issue. Even our beautiful islands can't escape plastic being found on our beaches and in the ocean. Together, we can change this. We can start by taking the 345 Pledge, which is a personal commitment to make better choices in our everyday lives. I am Kelsey Woodman-Bodden, Miss World Cayman Islands, and in a united effort for Cayman to be more environmentally friendly for the betterment of our future generations, I challenge all residents to take the 345 Pledge, which can be found at plasticfreecayman.com.
You're invited to a special celebration in honor of Their Royal Highnesses the Prince of Wales and the Duchess of Cornwall. Join the celebration, including an investiture ceremony and reception, on Thursday, the 28th of March, from 5:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. on the Great Lawn at Pedro St. James. There is no public parking around the event site. Complimentary shuttle bus service will run from 5 remote parking lots and will run continuously from 3:30 p.m. to 5:20 p.m. Please note that between 5:30 p.m. and 7:30 p.m. there will be no public access to Pedro St. James. Following the reception, complimentary shuttle service to all 5 remote locations will resume. Remote parking locations will be at the Savannah Primary School, the Savannah Seventh-day Adventist Church, the Savannah United Church, the Savannah Church of God, and the Savannah Post Office. Don't miss the royal celebration on the lawn at Pedro St. James, Thursday the 28th of March, in honor of the royal visit with Their Royal Highnesses, the Prince of Wales and the Duchess of Cornwall.
Talk today.
But I do have some questions.
Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back to Talk Today. Thank you for sharing with us. It is open line 949-8837, 949-6990. And if you wish, we're more than happy, very grateful for the opportunity to offer you also a toll-free call, 1-800-534-8255. And then, of course, the WhatsApp is there, 925-3261. Remember, these are all the numbers that you can use, whether you're going to call us here or you're going to call for the record. And tomorrow morning, reminder, join Mr. Art for the record in the morning. Here's your WhatsApp. It says, good day. Says, in the past, when Cayman received the royal visit, the streets were clean, Cayman flags and Union Jacks were installed on light poles, significant decorations were made. In some instances, the driving route was announced for those who wish to offer well wishes to the royal guests as they pass by. Normally, this is a function of protocol. This was all done before we had a protocol office. To date, precious little seems to have been done in terms of visible preparation for the royal visit. And we have a full-time protocol office. Is this lack of visible preparation the new standard for Cayman protocol for a royal visit? Or is this a lack of respect or other form of diplomatic snub to the UK due to their stance on certain matters such as beneficial ownership, gay marriage, etc.? Well, thank you very much for sharing that thought. It may strike a chord with others. It may be fully embraced by some. Who knows? Let's go to our phones. Welcome. You're on Talk Today. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for sharing.
Hi, good afternoon.
Welcome. How are you?
I am good, thank you. And how are you?
Very blessed and thankful. Thank you for listening, for contributing.
Yes, I am just calling about the traffic situation. And I live in the Eastern District.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know whose opinion it took in the first place about the roundabouts. But I really don't believe that they have worked for Cayman. For one thing, the roundabouts here are much too small to and considering the amount of traffic that we have, that you really have to be quick to pull in because there's always traffic coming from your right.
Mm-hmm.
And for this reason, I don't think that the roundabouts, and they continue to put in more and more roundabouts, which I don't think, is really working for us.
Right.
I am convinced that if they had put in traffic lights at some of these junctions, the traffic would flow much, much better than they're doing with the roundabouts.
Yeah. Is it, and you're probably right, and there are those who would probably agree with you, but do you think part of the challenge with roundabouts, in addition to the size, as you may have suggested, is it that we don't know how to use them?
Well, that is a part of the problem, too. I worked in Clemes before, and I know how many accidents we had because of people not using the roundabouts correctly. But, because some people still don't understand that, the people coming from your right have the ultimate right of way.
Give way to the traffic from your right.
Right.
Okay.
But I'm saying that because of the size of the roundabout,
yes, ma'am.
That when it's plenty of traffic like that in the mornings, you're always going to have,
right,
traffic coming from your right. So if you don't take that opportunity to pull in,
right,
and try and get in, from the other end.
I think too, as you shared too, not only are we not using them, but as people come into the roundabouts, some are coming in much too fast, and so trying to be safe, trying to pick your time to get in, and then they're changing lanes in the roundabout, all sorts of issues.
All sorts of issues in the roundabout.
Traffic lights might be the thing, huh? I don't know.
I am convinced that, even with the amount of traffic that we have on the roads now, because at least with traffic lights, you get a slew of, when you get the green light, you get a slew of vehicles that just go.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other side gets a equal chance to go through. So that you're having dozens of vehicles, that just go.
But then I was just thinking, and I was looking at, I didn't quite, tell you honestly, when I read the WhatsApp, I didn't quite follow what was shared, so maybe I still don't. But it was asking about roads and roundabouts and traffic congestion. It was talking, presumably, I presume this is the reference, and I'm going to repeat it, but interpreting what I thought was it. The section between the old cricket grounds, so that's what, Thomas Russell Way, going to Linford Pearson, and over Smith Road, and you have one lane. The light is there. You get to that small little roundabout. You have a bottleneck. So as traffic goes onto the East-West Arterial, it's bottleneck, and even though you have good road construction, wider lanes, are we doing it piecemeal so that we don't have sufficient flow of traffic and we still creating bottlenecks in certain areas?
Well, I honestly believe that the bottleneck is occurring because you go. I don't know how long those stretches are.
Yes.
From one light to the other, or from one roundabout to the other, or from the light to a roundabout.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just not sufficient spacing to give that amount of vehicles the chance to move.
Right. This message, and I hear this message that I also said that we talked about highways and bypasses, but all it did was create more access to open up lands for development. It sent a picture of one, and I kind of looked at it earlier, and it has, I don't know, in what seems to be a relatively short stretch of land, about a half a dozen little turn-offs yet to be built from this, I call it a bypass, presumably. And the question was asked, is this a bypass or an access road?
And that is, I can tell that is true in some instances.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And with the two lanes that we have in many of the sections of the road now, I mean, there really should be no need for the bottleneck that you have in the mornings in particular, because at least people are a little bit more relaxed, maybe coming home in the evening. But when you're anxious because you think you're not going to get to work on time in the morning, which happens to many people,
mm-hmm.
It's just very stressful when I think that it could have been avoided. I just feel that the traffic lights would have been the better decision to make.
You're probably right. Thanks for sharing. Anything else you want to add?
No, that's all I'm going to say to this. It's actually my first time for calling the talk show.
Please feel welcome to call as often as you want. Don't let it be your last, please.
I'll try not to.
All right. Thank you very much.
You take care. Bye-bye.
God bless. And we want you all to be welcome and engaged. And I say this with the greatest respect. If I say I do something that you don't like and offends you, tell me. It may not have been deliberate. It may have been. But I get a chance to, explain, understand, apologize, and equally engage you. Now, likewise, and perhaps even more importantly, if you say something on the radio and you get a comment from somebody and you feel slighted, they chastise you for speaking publicly, you take them to task, because we need to be able to, if we're going to have a healthy democracy, be able to voice our opinions publicly as we do privately. We need to be able to champion those things that we believe in, stand firm for that thing that we believe in, whether it's supporting the government, whether it's chastising the government, whether it's supporting the private sector, whether it's hold them to task. That what makes it healthy, as long as we try to put some thought into what we say, try to say it in a respectful, responsible manner. You should be able to criticize as well as champion certain things, challenge the status quo as well as advocate for it. That's the semblance, I believe, of a healthy democracy. And the more that we learn, understand, get involved, get informed, the perhaps better position we'll be to add our input. Like so many of you who've shared publicly, we have some great insights, experiences, and expertise within our populace. We just need to be more willing to stand together, more willing to share publicly, and more willing to not only hold others accountable, but be prepared to be responsible and equally accountable for what we say and what we do. And if it's an elected official, well, remember, we elected them. In absence of some allegation of voter fraud, we went to elections in a free and fair manner, thankfully a safe and civilized one, and we put our X's down for John or Mary or Sue or Peter or Paul or whoever it was that was elected. And whether it was a convincing majority that elected, or whether it was just the narrowest of margins, hey, that was how the chips sort of fell that day. But we need to be actively engaged and involved. So thank you for thinking and talking and sharing and contributing to participate, because it's important. Now, likewise, when we talk about the traffic on our roads, as the caller shared, we're giving way to the drivers coming from our right. And because it's such a lot of traffic, sometimes we're waiting for a safe opportunity to merge into the roundabout. But like on so many of our roadways, how many of us are cautious and considerate, are looking at other road users, and not only are we obeying the traffic laws, are we using our turn signals properly, but are we extending a semblance of courtesy? Now, we're in the roundabout, and for no reason other than to try to get ahead, we are overtaking and, as I say, cutting around each other in the roundabout. Not because we're going to change lanes to merge and exit at the next available exit that we want to get on, but because we find a way to get around the car in front of us. Some of us do it on the shoulders of the road. Some of us zoom down the center lanes. So much so that because of our what seemed to be, I would say, an inconsiderate action on our parts as road users, we're getting hit at the expense of everybody else. Are we making it unsafe, not just for others, but for us and the passengers in our vehicles? What is it they say, better to arrive safe than not at all? Well, maybe some people don't think of it as such. 8949-8037, 1-800-534-8255. As we get ready to close out the program, some days I'll be so privileged to sit there for extended periods. Some days like everything, you just can't wait to get on to the next thing because you seem to have insufficient time in the day. So we're thankful for what we do have. Are we making it count? Are we making a positive difference? Now, if there's someone who has something else that we want to share before the day ends for today's edition of Talk Today, 949-8837, 1-800-534-8255. Remember, Thursday is a national holiday. I know some employees are excited because maybe they'll get more pay, maybe they'll get the day off. Some employers are probably frustrated and go, oh, got to pay more, oh, business is going to be closed. But they themselves may be relieved and say, what a reprieve, they get a chance to do some little thing without having to open the doors and attend to certain things. Perhaps some are excited because of the actual visit. Others may not see it and maybe question, what is it going to cost the country, not just in the security that is expected in this environment in which we live, but all the other things, and how will that be justified and the like. Now, I invite you to enjoy the rest of this afternoon. Tomorrow is a Wednesday. As a Wednesday, Mr. Art Connor will join you in the morning to kick off our talk show for the record, so please be a part of that. And certainly come for Talk Today. We start things off with our friends at CNCF, and then 12:30 we'll talk to our good folks from the Scholarships Secretariat. 1:30 we get a chance to talk about the upcoming Crifter Games. And that's just tomorrow. And Thursday, we'll take a little reprieve. The royal visit, I think it's about tomorrow, 3:45. The flights land and what have you. So there are obviously going to be some traffic diversions and some considerations. Maybe we should have a holiday tomorrow. But until then, have a wonderful, safe, blessed and productive afternoon. Join Mr. Art in the morning for the record. Be blessed.